One of the reasons why you might always feel hungry is that you may be lacking a certain macronutrient or a micronutrient. Your macros are your fats, proteins, and carbohydrates, and your micronutrients are all of the vitamins and minerals. Now, if you research on the internet, you may see them talking about you're not getting enough protein. This is ridiculous. In the United States, the average adult eats about 100 grams of protein per day, which is double the recommended amount. Even vegans get enough protein if they're eating plenty of beans, legumes, and nuts and supplementing with protein powders. So what is the real deficiency in a macronutrient? That is a type of carbohydrate. And the carbohydrate I'm talking about is fiber. 97% of American adults and children do not get the daily recommended amount of fiber, which is 25 to 35 grams per day. Most Americans eat less than 15 grams of fiber per day, which is terrible, especially when you realize the benefits that fiber have on lowering your hunger. Before I get too far into the discussion of fiber, let's talk a little bit about micronutrient deficiencies. In animal husbandry, farmers have known for years that if you deprive the cows of minerals, the cow's appetite will increase and they will eat more, they will get bigger and provide a higher yield for the farmer. Now, does this also happen in human beings, which are also mammals? Maybe. Just to make sure to have your bases covered, you want to make sure that you're getting your micronutrients. And it's very easy to supplement your diet with a good multivitamin and a good multimineral. This is the multivitamin that I usually recommend to my patients. And this is the multimineral that I usually recommend. Which ones do you take? Which ones have you seen that have helped you? Let me know down in the comment section below. Now back to fiber, which is my favorite topic. There are two components of fiber, and you only get your fiber from plants. The first component is the insoluble fiber. This is the part that your body does not digest. It forms bulk, it forms mass, and how it suppresses your appetite is that the bulk that it forms puts pressure on your digestive tract, and stretch receptors sense that you're full, and it helps with satiety, helps to lower your appetite. Soluble fiber, on the other hand, does get broken down in your body, but not by you. It gets broken down by good, friendly gut microorganisms. So whenever you eat a meal that is high in soluble fiber, you are feeding populations of good bacteria, and when they digest that soluble fiber, they break it down into these things called short chain fatty acids: acetate, propionate, and butyrate. These chemicals have tremendous health benefits in your body. But what does soluble fiber have to do with hunger cravings? Well, inside of your gut, there is actually a turf war going on between the good species of microbes and the bad species of microbes. If you eat a diet that is high in refined sugars and refined flours, you are providing a food source for the bad gut bacteria, and their populations will grow and their populations will take over. These organisms will produce things which stimulate your body to feel hungry. Specifically, they may stimulate the hormone ghrelin, which makes you feel hungry, or they may release various other peptides that have either a direct or indirect influence on your neurotransmitters, which affects your nervous system, which ultimately could affect your behaviors. You don't want these bad microorganisms to colonize your gut, otherwise you're never gonna lose weight. In order to get rid of them, you have to get rid of their food supply, which is the refined sugars and refined flours. So reduce intake of those items in your diet so that you're not feeding the bad guys, and start eating more fiber so that you're feeding the good guys. When the good guys take over, it's harder for the bad guys to be a problem. Another way to reduce your hunger cravings is to practice time-restricted eating. I always tell my patients to eat 3 meals per day at specific times each day. always eat at the same time each day and don't snack in between the meals. So on a typical day, you may eat breakfast at 7 a.m., lunch at noon, and dinner at 5. What this does is when you start doing this for 7 days in a row, your natural release of hunger hormones will sync up to those times that you're eating. So for example, you'll only get hungry at 7, noon, and 5 after about 7 days of doing this. If you decide to snack in between the meals, well, you're gonna start getting the hunger cravings at those snack times. So if one day you decide not to snack, you realize, man, it's 10 a.m. Why am I feeling these cravings? It's because of your last 7 days of eating patterns. So if you could get through those 7 days to resync your hunger hormones, then you only get hungry at the times whenever you're supposed to eat, which helps you to lose weight. Finally, you need to understand your perception of hunger and realize that it is not the end of the world if you feel hungry and you don't eat that Snickers bar. When we were kids, we were brainwashed by our parents who know nothing about nutrition. Remember, like, sitting there at the table feeling so full and not being able to finish your meal, and your parents are guilting you into saying things like, you know, there's people around the world, there's children in China who are starving, and look at you, you're not finishing your meal. But what your parents don't understand is your tummy is only so big, you could only fit so much in your stomach, and them forcing you to eat and guilting you into eat has repercussions later in life when you start thinking, well, I really need to finish all my meal here, and that could lead to you gaining weight. Even worse was when your parents rewarded you for good behaviors by giving you some type of sugary treat, or they rewarded you with a sugary treat whenever you were feeling emotionally down. This also has repercussions later in life, probably worse repercussions, especially for people who are emotional eaters. You would be surprised how many times I have had pediatric patients in my office who are uncooperative, and their parents dangle this carrot in front of their head saying, you know, if you behave for the doctor, when we're done, we're taking you to Dairy Queen, which, like, I'm trying not to hear that as a naturopathic doctor. I don't want to hear that. But you could just see how this could have an influence on your child's behavior later on in life. So all the parents out there, please stop doing this. Find other non-food ways to reward your children. For those of you who have become corrupted by poor parenting as a child, there are other ways for you to get your dopamine high besides from food. You can take a good probiotic supplement like this one, or you can engage in regular exercise, listen to good music and dance to the music, and setting small, achievable goals can also help to improve your dopamine. How do you deal with your hunger cravings, and have you been successful? Leave a comment down below. For those of you who stuck with me, I thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.